This video is for people out there that would like to see how I personally clean my stainless steel cooktop on my double oven. I'm going to give you hopefully a brief video of the procedure that I use. First of all, I'm going to show you what I'm going to be up against cleaning it, and also the tools that you'll need. The tools that I use is just a single T15 Torx bit, and that's going to be used to remove the burner caps from around the bottom of the burner because all of the food particles and things seem to work their way up underneath, and I want to get it good and clean. Also a couple pieces of Scotch-Brite and a household rag. The first thing I'm going to do is remove all of the racks from the top of the oven. The next thing we should do is make sure that your oven is unplugged so that as you're cleaning, in the event that you were to turn on one of the burners by accident, the electronic strikers here will not give you a jolt. So make sure your oven is unplugged, and we'll proceed with removing the burner caps. On this particular oven, I have two T15 Torx bit screws that I'm going to remove from the burner cap, and the burner cap will just lift off the oven like that. You'll also want to be extremely careful when using the Scotch-Brite and cleaning that you do not bump or crack these little electronic strikers. If you do, that is what ignites the burner, and you'll have to replace the striker assembly. So be extremely careful going around these. There's one on each burner. I'm also going to remove the center burner, which has a square bit that you can remove that with. If not, a thin blade screwdriver that fits in the notch there would work just as well. The screws aren't on very tight, so I would recommend using the square bit if you can get it. If not, a flat blade screwdriver that fits tightly in between the grooves will get that screw out. And we're going to remove that burner cap as well. Not all ovens are going to have the setup that mine is. Some will have Phillips bits, some will have Torx bits. If you don't feel comfortable removing the burner caps, don't do it. We can just clean around them. Now that we have all the burner caps removed, you can see how the buildup has worked its way up underneath around the striker and around the burner valve itself. We're going to get all that cleaned off. The next thing we'll do is take a hot, wet rag, and we're going to wipe off all of the loose residue from the top of the cooktop. And we're going to get it as clean as we possibly can, just with a rag. And if you notice, on most stainless steel cooktops, there is a pattern, a polishing pattern or a grinding pattern that moves from left to right or horizontally. When we do our cleaning, we want to make sure that we take the Scotch-Brite, and as we're cleaning, we want to keep the same pattern. We're going to rub the pattern like this and clean, but we'll show you that in just a minute. I'm going to start wiping the cooktop down with the rag. Again, I'm not using any chemicals. There are some of you, or a lot of you out there that may have found chemicals that work just as well for you, so this video is not for you. But if you want to see how to clean it without using chemicals, which I've tried several of, and they didn't really work at all, this procedure takes about an hour, but you'll see the results when we're all finished. So wipe this down as best you can with a hot rag. Of course, cleaning the rag occasionally with water as hot as your hands can stand. Again, I cannot stress enough to be extremely careful going around the striker assemblies on the burners. And also, when you're using your Scotch-Brite to clean around the control knobs, be careful not to rub off your stencil markings. On some ovens, the markings are painted or stenciled or etched in, and it's very easy to remove it if you rub hard enough. So I would just go around those with a hot wet rag and clean that as best you can. Most of the time you don't get the residue like this underneath the burners around your control knob. So most of the dirt and grease will come off with a hot wet rag. Okay, next we're gonna wet the Scotch-Brite with hot water, with the water dripping a little bit, so you have plenty of water to help cut the residue. And I'm gonna start rubbing this way, this direction. I'm not gonna do the whole video, but I'm just gonna show you the procedure that I do, and you can notice how the residue is going to start to come off. Going back and forth, left to right only. Being careful not to bump or damage the striker. I'll clean around this one burner and then give you a shot of what it looks like afterwards. Here's another short shot of my cleaning process. I'm still going left to right around the burner, being careful not to clean too closely to the striker. And you can see so far how clean that's becoming. Here's where we are so far. You may have some areas like this, little spots that are visible that you won't be able to get out with the Scotch-Brite. So what I use is a flat razor blade and just gently scrape left to right with the tip of the blade, and you can see it takes it right out. Being careful not to go in a circular motion, but lightly scrape left and right with the blade flat on the cooktop. That will remove the hard to get off residue, and then you can go behind it with your Scotch-Brite and polish it up, left to right. Not in a circle, left to right only. Make sure to rinse your Scotch-Brite out occasionally to remove the dirt. After a while of using one piece of Scotch-Brite, you're going to notice that it doesn't cut or clean as well as it does. Stop, throw it out, and get a new piece. The newer the Scotch-Brite, the better the cutting power. Another short clip of cleaning. I'm about halfway through the cleaning process, and I'm going to show you how this little residue on the top of the front faceplate comes off. Cleaning left to right, and as you can see the results on that. And like I say, rinse your Scotch-Brite out on occasion, and also wipe the area that you're cleaning down with the rag so that you can kind of take a look at what's happening during the process. So I'm going to continue to clean around this burner here, and I will be back in a minute. Oh, incidentally, here's the right side of the oven so far. Not too bad. And if you happen to have to clean some areas and you happen to go around in a circle and you notice that you can see circular scratches, your Scotch-Brite, don't panic, your Scotch-Brite, if you go over that area left to right with a new piece, it will recreate the pattern for you. As long as the scratches aren't too deep, it will always, with a new piece or a good piece, left to right, or whichever way the pattern goes, it will recreate the pattern on the oven or on the cooktop. Remember to use plenty of water. I just changed my Scotch-Brite to a new piece. Use plenty of water so as the residue comes off, you have some water to kind of chase it and rinse it off. Now some areas on your oven is going to take a little elbow grease and a little bit of time, but the results are going to be, I can almost guarantee you, to your liking.